Hello and welcome to Unacademy IAS, a one-stop destination for all the English medium civil services aspirants. Welcome to the initiative of Economy Made Easy, wherein we will be taking up important economy-related events that are taking place on day-to-day basis, and we will be analyzing these events. In this video, I have taken up a very interesting thing that is happening right now. Olympics games are happening, and regarding Olympics as well as the earlier games, there is a lot of discussion that is happening now, how corporate social responsibility has helped India to earn or let's say win multiple medals in the ongoing as well as the earlier conducted games. Let's try and understand this current affairs discussion. To understand how CSR is helping India to win medals, first and foremost, you need to understand the basic concept. That is, what is CSR? CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsibility. The Government of India, back in the year 2013, introduced Companies Act of 2013. Before Companies Act of 2013, earlier it was Companies Act of 1956. Under the Companies Act of 2013, government introduced a provision for corporate social responsibility, and the Schedule 7 is associated with this itself, that is part of the Companies Act. Now, under this Companies Act, if there is a company which is having a turnover of over 1,000 crore rupees, net worth of 500 crore rupees, and a profit of 5 CR. If any company falls under these parameters, then this company will have to ensure that 2% of the profits will have to be spent under corporate social responsibility. Again, I am not entering into the detailed discussion of how technically it is calculated, the average of previous 3 years, etc. Technicality not needed. Argument was very simple. 2% of the profits will have to be spent under corporate social responsibility. For what purposes? It can be used for promotion of healthcare, promotion of education, and there the government introduced that the CSR funds can be utilized even to promote sports in India. The guidelines came into force from the year 2014, and according to these guidelines, the expenditure for training to promote rural, nationally recognized sports, Paralympic as well as Olympic sports, if the company will provide funding for these kinds of events, that would be counted as a part of corporate social responsibility. And the provision was slightly amended in the year 2016, and something else was covered. The coverage was expanded, and according to the new guideline, it stated that creation and maintenance of sports infrastructure, upgradation, renovation of existing sports facilities, sports science support, etc., all of those expenditures incurred by the company would be covered under corporate social responsibility. In a nutshell, the argument of CSR or the funding under CSR would cover not only for providing training for the sports persons, even if the sports person wanted to get access to, let's say, a better coach, if they wanted to get access to a technology that they can use to improve their performance, even the grounds or the fields they practiced, etc., all of them were covered under the corporate social responsibility now. As a result of this, what has happened over a period of time? In the last 4 to 5 years, for which the data is available, if you can see this, the number of companies which are covered under the CSR mandate, because they are meeting these threshold conditions, the number of companies which are covered under the CSR mandate, this is the number. You will see that slowly and steadily the number is increasing, and the amount that has been spent by them, the data is provided. Do not memorize the number here, not needed. And out of which, how much has been spent on, let's say, the sports persons, or let's say for sports under the corporate social responsibility, the data is also provided here. On an average, if you look at the data here, on an average, you will realize that somewhere around 240 to 250 CR on an average every year under the CSR is being spent for promotion of sports in India. Now, what is the importance of this? What is the outcome of this? Please understand this. Before understanding the outcome or the performance of this, under what parameters or under what situations the money is being spent under CSR, there are 3 different models which are being used. In fact, the report says 4 different models. Fourth one is the equity model. Let's focus on the 3 important models. The first one is the PPP, public-private partnership, where the private sector entity will be entering into an agreement with, let's say, the government, for example, the state government, and certain facilities will be provided for which expenditure will be incurred by the private sector entity. An example for this is the Odisha state government has entered into a PPP agreement with Reliance, as a result of which they have developed athletics high performance center in the state of Odisha. Second model is a build, operate, transfer. That is essentially the model will be developed, that is program would be developed by the private sector. The funding would be provided by the private sector, and the implementation will also be done by the private sector. Under this, the best example is Tata Football Academy, where funding, the model or the training program, etc., all of that will be covered or will be managed by the same private sector company. Third one is basically the fund of funds model. What is the idea of a fund of funds model? The private sector entity will provide the funds to, let's say, a training institute. The training institute will create a model, will create, let's say, certain system, and for the implementation of this model for training of the athletes, for providing services to improve the performance of the athletes, etc., the funds provided by the private sector entity will be utilized. One such entity which is working under this model of fund of funds is a Go Sports Foundation. So these are the 3 very famous models which are being used by the private sector, either individually or with state governments or with, let's say, another training institute, to provide or to basically spend money under the corporate social responsibility to promote sports in India. Now, as a result of this, what has been the performance? Before looking at the concerns, what has been the performance? The amount of money that has been spent under the CSR has kept on increasing. And if you can see the medal tally, that is how many number of medals have been earned by, let's say, the Indian athletes in the ongoing Olympics as well as the previous games as well and other events as well, you will see that there's a marked improvement. There is a marked improvement in the performance as well. So that's the reason many of the experts are saying that in the coming years, with Government of India targeting the 2036 Olympics, Government of India wants to conduct an Olympics in the next decade in India. So with Government of India targeting that particular Olympics, there is very high chances that more and more expenditure will be done by the private sector under CSR, and the performance of Indian athletes going forward will be much better. But having said so, there are certain concerns associated with this kind of a model. What are the concerns? Point number 1, although a lot of companies which are eligible under the CSR, which are supposed to spend money, although a lot of the companies are spending money, please understand, a large chunk of this investment is coming from very large number of companies. For example, the Reliance company. As per a survey which has been conducted, somewhere around 20% of the expenditure of total expenditure for sports under the CSR has come from only one company. So argument is simple. 1, we need to ensure that more and more companies will be spending their money under CSR for promotion of sports in India. Right now, according to the survey which has been conducted, 1% of the total CSR funds, I repeat, 1% of total CSR funds are being utilized to promote sports in India. Whereas, if you look at the healthcare sector, education sector, both of them put together account for more than 50% of the total CSR expenditure. So argument is simple here. We should increase the amount of expenditure that will be conducted under CSR for promotion of sports as well. Point number 3, one more very important point in favor of promotion of sports is that the private sector companies should spend money on healthcare as well. They should spend money. Nobody is denying that. They should spend money on promotion of education, healthcare, right? Let's say the protection of environment. Of course, yes. But please understand, generally the standing of a country in terms of sports events improves the image of the country in the global market. And the returns, and when I say the returns, I hope you understand, when you invest money in case of sports, returns are tangible in the form of, let's say, medals. Although there are certain experts who say, do not always measure your investment in terms of medals, because it will take generally a very long time period for the athlete to get the benefits of all of these facilities, improve the performance and get a medal over a period of time. And even if the athlete doesn't get the medal, nothing wrong with that. If the performance has improved, that should be the agenda of the CSR activities here, right? In addition to this, lot of these funds, right, somewhere around 1/3, more than 1/3 of these particular funds are getting concentrated in some of the states in India. For example, Maharashtra, right, more than 1/3 of the funds are getting concentrated within these particular some of the states. We need to diversify. We need to ensure that the CSR funds are also used outside in other states as well. And please understand, we should promote more and more of such funding for sports, because one survey has stated that with more of promotion of sports in India, if you target these funding, let's say for women, for girl children, etc., it will also lead to women empowerment. Right now, we are not doing it sufficiently. We should do it going forward. So these are some of the very important points associated with, let's say, the funding under the CSR for sports activities in India. So related to CSR, I have given a question here. And my dear, this question was asked in the civil services examination. And this will be your assignment now. Here is a question. With reference to corporate social responsibility rules in India, consider the following statements. Two statements are provided. You will have to find out which of the two statements are correct, or both of them are correct, both of them are incorrect, or only one of them is correct. So what is the right answer, right option for this question? Do let me know in the comment section below. So this is the discussion I wanted to have regarding how CSR activities in India is helping India earn more or get more and more medals in the Olympic Games as well as other games as well. If you like this initiative, hit the like button. If you have yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. Thank you. Have a great day.